Hey everyone, how's it going today? Coach Alvarez here, back at you another episode of Coffee with Coach. Hope you're up doing well. Got the mind in the right place. If not, as always, let's put it in the right place. So today, I want to share with you guys another good nugget that I got from listening to Joe DeSena. Again, if you don't know who Joe DeSena is, he is the founder, owner of the Spartan Race. Again, just came across this guy just recently. And it sucks because I wish I would have came across him a lot sooner. But it is what it is. So I'm listening to a podcast where it says like something like 10 rules for resilience for dads or something like that, whatever. So I'm a dad. I'm gonna click on it. I wanna check it out, see what he has to say. And it's I don't know, maybe 30 minutes long or whatever. I listened to it the entire time while I worked out earlier this morning and a couple of times while I walk my dogs. But one of the things that they're talking about in here is just like the generation these days of, the kids not being as tough as they used to and not doing hard things. And, obviously there's a lot more distractions than there were, 20, 30, 40 years ago, even longer. Everyone's got iPhones, iPads, video games, stuff like that to occupy them versus like going outside playing and, exercising and doing calisthenics and stuff like that. Anyways, this guy, Joe, he has 2 sons and they wrestle. He's got him into wrestling and he makes them practice, like I thought he said, like 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. He got a wrestling coach that used to live in his house. But now he actually just has them come every day to train his kids. But one of the things he mentioned was when he was at West Point, he said he was talking to the wrestling coach, and they were just talking because they were just talking about like how hard wrestling is, and so they get into this conversation, and the wrestling coach basically says, the room doesn't. Rise to my level of expectations. It falls to my level of tolerance. Okay. And so I had to listen to that a few times to kind of make that sink in or let it sink in. And me being a jiu-jitsu coach for 14 plus years and training jiu-jitsu for over 20, I totally agree with that because at least from as long as I remember, and I talked to quite a few students that have been with me for a very long time. Just when I first started teaching jiu-jitsu, 14 years ago, versus today, I just don't remember, I guess, trying so hard to get students to train the way we're supposed to train versus now, long time ago versus now. It just seems like it's a lot harder to get certain individuals to work hard, to listen, to be coachable, to take advice, to listen to the instruction that's given, to help them to improve their game, versus a long time ago. Now, even then, a long time ago, like there was at one point where like we didn't have AC, so we had like these big barrel fans in each corner of the mat, so like 4 fans, and we would have students do one round. So everyone would start together and then one round would go by. And then some students, not all, some students would go and sit by the fan. They were hot, they were tired, and they would sit out rounds. And I allowed that, all right? And that was a big mistake. And I had other students that wouldn't take a round off. They would do all 4 rounds. And the students that were sitting by the fan cooling off for 6-7 minutes, however long our rounds were, they wanted to come in the 3rd round or maybe even sit out 2 rounds and come in the 4th round when they were completely rested, hydrated because they're drinking their water, Gatorades, whatever. And they would try to roll with or would ask the ones, to roll the ones that never sat out. So you would have one student or some students that did all 3 rounds versus, some students, that sat out a round and sat out 2 rounds and did 1 round, and then try to come in hard against that student that didn't take a break. And I would kind of see a pattern in this, like, oh, okay, these guys are, they're trying to be smart. They're trying to get these breaks, and they're trying to take advantage of the ones that didn't take a break. Okay, so I had to change that rule to where no one could sit out. Okay, no one sits out. No one takes a break. All right, and that upset a lot. Well, it upset the people that wanted to take a break and that were taking a break, that were used to getting those rest periods and cooling off and rehydrating. And so those individuals were losing the rounds to the ones that never took the break. Because why? They trained themselves to take a break. They trained themselves to not go into those deep waters when it's hot and you're tired and you're exhausted. And now you got this other person, these other students that been training, never took the break, and they just started grinding these other students into the mat, basically, because these other ones got soft. They allowed, and me too, I was guilty of it because I allowed them to do that. So I changed that, and things started to change. Everyone started to toughen up. Not just the ones that didn't sit out rounds, but the ones that were sitting out rounds. Now they're starting to toughen up. Some students would quit and leave. It was cool because those were the ones that needed to leave anyway. We filtered those guys out and kept the ones that really wanted to be there and really wanted to work hard and really wanted to improve and get better. And so that kind of happens like today as well. Even though we got AC, I used to have fans in this new academy that we're at, just to kind of help circulate the AC, the air, the cold air that we had pumping through the academy. But then that started to happen again too, where some students wanted to go and stand by the fan. So eventually I just unplugged the fan. And then people would ask, well, why do you have the fan? I'm like, it's for decor, man. It's like a plant. It's like a painting. It's just there it's just there. Like, just stop messing with it. If I feel like it needs to be on, I'll turn it on. But you would start people having migrating to the fan, and they're just getting soft. Okay, so that's just an example, and I got plenty of those examples to go on. I'll be here all day, but in today's world, what I've been dealing with is like some people would even say, well, like some people, the phrase that I got a couple of times would be like, some people want to be coddled, and I'm not anyone's parent. I got one kid, and that's Danielle, and I don't coddle her. Okay, so I'm not gonna coddle anyone else's student. I'm not anyone else's kids, especially if they're an adult. With the kids program, we definitely try to like encourage them more and whatever case may be. But I'm talking grown adults who are asking or make comments about like being coddled. I'm not gonna sit anyone on my lap and rub their back and bounce them on my lap and ask them if they're gonna be okay and try to encourage them to go back out there and fight harder against someone that's their age, their belt rank, their weight class, that's just being tougher than them. They just need to toughen up. And some people in this day and age just can't handle that, because why? It's exactly what this guy is talking about. Like, the world has changed, but the world has changed because the parenting has changed. We are just allowing our kids to just tell us no. We're allowing our kids to just be the parents. I don't know how many times I have to deal with that, or I got to talk to a parent or whoever. And in my back of my mind, I'm thinking, while they're talking to me and telling me why they're going to pull their kid out and their kid don't want to come to class and their kid's crying on the way to class, I'm like, well, who's the parent? The kid is actually telling you what to do, not the other way around, And so that is always going to be the case. The room will always fall to the level of tolerance versus the level of expectations. I have very high expectations for my team, my students, kids, teens, adults. The bar is set very high. I talk about this all the time. Like, if you train with us, you have an obligation and a duty to uphold that bar and that standard to a certain height. Because people obviously got their phone or their computer, their iPad, laptop, whatever, Google searched or found our academy some kind of way, read some reviews, saw my accolades or the other people that trained with me, and was like, man, this place is really good. I want to go train there versus some of the other places in the area. But then when they come to a place like ours, they don't want to do their part to help keep what they read in the reviews or the what they see on the walls with the medals or the trophies on the other wall. And so they will leave. They'll find somewhere else where it's just more comfortable. The tolerance level is a lot lower and the bar is set a lot lower. And the coaching isn't as tough because it's just what it is. Some coaches just don't want to push anyone because they don't want their students to leave. They need the money. They want the money. They need the money. So like don't leave. What is it that you want to make you happy so that you don't leave? Versus the mindset that I have is like, there's a bar set here. There's a tolerance level set here. There's a level of expectation set here. And if you can't meet that, then you should leave. And you need to leave because you're screwing it up for the rest of us. You're bringing everyone else down to that level of tolerance, to that level of mediocrity and average. That's not why people drive an hour. I have so many students that literally drive an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to come and train with us because of that. And I've had students, one in particular where she's a mom. When she actually told me this, she wasn't a mom, but she's a mom now, and she still drives 45 minutes or so to come and train with me. And she told me one time, she was like, Coach, the reason why I come here and I drive as far as I do is because of the way you coach and the way that you are. And if you change that, I'll stop coming. And this is a woman, okay? Like a woman. And so I think I mentioned it in yesterday's episode. Like, they're just tougher than guys. It's just what it is. Like, no one can debate that. Okay, at least in my school and the people that I've dealt with in the last 14 years and then like plus just training, the women don't cry, they don't complain, they don't throw mouthpieces, throw their belts, kick something, slam, hit the mat, don't get up right away and not tie their belt and put their head down and pout. I've just never had a problem with women doing that. And then in like the kids program, okay, it's just what it is. It's just the truth. Sometimes it's just hard to deal with. The girls don't cry. It's the boys that cry. Like, we got to go up to the little boys and we got, hey, you okay? And like I said, encourage them. It's never the girls. It's the guys. Anyways, it's just what it is, you know. So when I have someone like, you know, one of the ladies that told me what they told me, I'm going to stick with that because I want an individual like that on my mat versus the other ones that are complaining, whining, moaning, and they're bringing the level of tolerance down, and they're going to bring everyone else's level of tolerance down. So it's just fire, man. It's just fire. Whatever in your life is that you got people around you and they don't want to work hard and they don't want to like get their hands dirty and they don't want to like sweat and like, you know, like feel some pain. Like, they're bringing your level of tolerance down. And so you're not going to really improve. You're going to get worse. Okay. So you have to be careful with that. So with this wrestling coach telling this guy, Joe DeSena, like, hey, look, man, wrestling is tough, but it has to be tough and it's going to be tough. And like I said, they're at West Point. So, you know, like, what do you expect? You know, you come and train with us. What do you expect? Like, it's going to be tough. The level of expectation is high, but the level of tolerance that we're going to let come down is like, it's very low. Like, it's not going to be very much. You know, we'll work with the people. Again, we got people that are 58, 65, 52, 50 this, 50 that, 40 something, herniated disc, multiple shoulder surgeries, you name it. We got students that have all kind of problems with things. And as long as they're giving their best effort and they're working hard, I'll never have a problem with those students. It's the other ones that there's nothing wrong with them. They don't have any kind of like previous major surgeries or injuries or illness or anything like that. And it seems like they're always the ones that just give me the hardest time. And it sucks as a coach to have to deal with that. So, but for me, I just, you know, I'll deal with it to a certain point, but I make it clear, let it be known, like, it's only going to be tolerated up until this much. After that, man, you got to either, you know, I kind of mentioned that yesterday in class, like, either someone will start to fight back and defend themselves, or they'll leave. So it's their choice. It's their choice. You pick one. Like you choose your hard, basically. Like choose the hard of like being a quitter and like leaving because you just don't want to like fight harder, or fight harder and start winning some rounds and, you know, get the level of respect up amongst your teammates and your peers and just get better. So it's their choice. So again, if you're just hopping on, you're just catching this at the end, wherever you're at, not just a wrestling room or a jiu-jitsu room, just in life, period, like things don't rise to the level of your expectation. They rise to your level of tolerance. Absolute fire, man. Had to get that out today. So gotta go. It's time to teach class. Catch you guys on the next one. We'll see you.